The Chicago Bears get injury updates, both good and bad. We're going to discuss those things, as well as Ben Johnson's comments on wanting ownership from the Bears locker room. And we immediately get responses from Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, and Rome Odunze on the things that are ailing the Chicago Bears offense. We're going to talk about all that, plus dive a little bit into the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. The Chicago Bears got a bad injury update when Shamar Turner is out for the season now with a torn ACL that Ben Johnson did announce on Monday. This was the Bears' second-round selection in the 2025 draft. He was expected this season to come in, play behind Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Andrew Billings, and get ready to have maybe a larger role as the season goes on and definitely into next season. Unfortunately now, Shamar Turner did get off to a slow start with an injury, and now he's going to miss the final 10 games of his rookie year with this torn ACL. This is the latest in a long line of injuries for the Chicago Bears. You look at it, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith, who's out for the year. Zay Frazier out for the year, right? Grady Jarrett, who's missed some time with his knee. He's back in action though. TJ Edwards missed some time with the hamstring. He's playing right now. And of course, Austin Booker as well. This really does suck, right? As well as Dominique Robinson as well. He's going to be out for a few weeks with a high ankle sprain as well. And wide receiver Luther Burden is in the concussion protocol. So this means that the Bears are now missing and down with the number of injuries. And it's really unfortunate with the Chicago Bears how the season has really gotten derailed by injuries, man. It's really unfortunate, man. But it is what it is. When it comes down to it, you got to deal with it. Next man up mentality. Every team in the NFL is going to deal with injuries. I don't care that ours is a little bit more than other, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The Chicago Bears are going to have to deal with it. And, losing what we've lost talent-wise, and, with Luther Burden going in the concussion protocol, that potentially could be huge for the Bears as well, as he's somebody I wanted to see the Bears utilize a little bit more. But, Dominique's out. Luther Burden's out. Shamar Turner's done for the season. No timeline has still been established on Jalen Johnson. He's probably going to be gone for the entirety of the year. This is just what the season entails. And, the Bears, I would say this, they've dealt with it better than what I would have expected coming into the season, right? If you would have told me that Jalen Johnson would have gone down and we wouldn't have had really any games from Jalen Johnson, I would think that, the Bears defense would have took a huge hit. And not to say that it still hasn't taken a hit, but the defense has been overall solid, right? Losing TJ Edwards, I wouldn't have been as confident in Noah Sewell to come in and play the role that he has. I wouldn't have been confident that missing Dominique Robinson would have been really missing anything for the Bears, but he's played an important role as a depth piece for this team. So the Bears are just going to have to go through it, man. They're going to have to go through it, take their medicine, deal with the bumps and bruises, literally. And, we'll see where the season goes. The season goes on. No matter what, you have to find your path and your route through this season. And every NFL team is going to deal with their own obstacles. The Bears' obstacles are just, injuries as well as growth and development that we've seen so far. And that just is what it is at this point. But with that said, we did get a positive update in regards to it that Austin Booker is expected to rejoin the 53-man roster. And that's good, right? With Shamar Turner going down, Dominique Robinson going down as well, getting Austin Booker back, especially with how he looked at time, that's really good. And, getting Austin Booker looked really good in preseason. So getting him back now and getting, he's expected per Brad Biggs, he's expected to be activated by the end of today, which is the deadline for that. That's really good for getting Austin Booker back out there. Now, Austin Booker's able to step into a team that is going to need his production even more than what it looked like while he was out. Dominique's gone. Shamar Turner's gone. So now you're going to need some depth there as well. And so if Austin Booker can come into this, it's going to be a big game for him. Right now, last season wasn't necessarily the best statistical season for Austin Booker as a rookie. He had 10 pressures, 1.5 sacks on 154 snaps. But you're expecting Austin Booker, especially with how he looked in preseason, to just be more consistent off the bench for the Chicago Bears this year. And if he's able to give us that, that's going to be a really good thing from him. So a strong performance and, give him some time to ramp up, right? He's coming back with 10 games left on the season, but with a strong performance from Austin Booker, it can really put the Bears in a pretty damn solid spot that we need to be in. So let's hope that that's going to be the case. And let's hope that the Bears are going to continue to find their way going on. We are, at this point in the season where we are, we have one more game left now before, the trade deadline. So the Bears are going to be trying to figure that out. And, getting Austin Booker back, especially for a team that needs some more pressure, needs some help in the run game, all those type of things, it can't do nothing but help the Bears team overall. So as we head into week 9 now, 4-3, we face off against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday, which is going to be a tight game. We have the New York Giants the following week after that, the Minnesota Vikings after that. So this is going to be a nice stretch of games for the Chicago Bears. And Austin Booker's coming at a really important time, especially before he gets a couple of weeks under his belt before we have an NFC North matchup with that Minnesota Vikings team, which we're going to need Austin Booker a lot in that. So we'll see what comes of that overall. But the Bears' injury things have been the injury things, and they're going to continue to be a sore spot for this team, it looks like, for the entirety of this year. But with that said, let's get into some of the comments from Ben Johnson and overall this team. We've had a lot of responses over the last couple of days in regards to, but Ben Johnson said this: we here as coaches, we're going to help support. We're going to help challenge these guys, and we're going to be along there with them every step of the way. But I think it would go a long way if we just had maybe just a little more ownership in that locker room to take the bull by the horns here so that we do get this cleaned up, right? And, Ben Johnson has said that he feels like the Bears have the right leaders in place, but he does want more ownership over the Bears' problems from the locker room. And from a coach point, I understand that, right? You want your guys to be the ones that are, really fueling the expectation there. Like, yeah, the coaches can set the expectations. Coaches can hold players to expectations. They can hold themselves to expectations. But I think at the same time, you want the guys that you've designated as leaders, the guys that you've seen as leaders in this locker room, you want those guys as well to step up pretty considerably for you, right? And going on to say this, we've got a number of guys who are leaders on this team. I think now that it bit us in the rear end with the loss, I think it opens your eyes a little bit more. Okay, we do need to clean this up if we want to get where we want to go. And this just sounds like a great motivator, right? Keep in mind, Ben Johnson has really been just about everything that the Bears said that they wanted in a coach. A leader of men, somebody who brings accountability to that locker room, a coaching staff that does that, right? And Ben Johnson has really done a good job at that. And so it's now on the Chicago Bears players to play with a sense of urgency to fix this thing. Because again, the Bears have been in this situation before where they've been 4-2, and then the season has gotten completely out of their hands, right? Like this, a lot of the players on this team have experienced that, and you shouldn't want to experience that again, right? So now that you've dealt with the loss, and it's kind of, hopefully that is a wake-up call to you in the way that you need to perform and fix some things for this team this season. And we'll see if they end up doing that, right? Now, Caleb Williams talked a little bit about it as well. Caleb said this: penalties and being able to score in the red zone. We get into those moments and we're either not scoring or converting in those moments, and we know that we can. We could have been up 14 points in those first 2 drives that we had that would have created a bunch of momentum for us. That's how it's been a good amount of the year, especially in these past 2 games. We've been in the red zone a bunch, and we're not necessarily being able to punch it in the high red zone. There are 2 main things we have to fix. The guys jumping off sides will get fixed. We will get that fixed and to be able to move on from those. We just have to execute the plays from there. You have to recognize a problem first before you can fix it, right? And I think that that's a big thing. You have to first recognize that there is a problem before you can then fix said problem. And so it's good that the recognition is there, that there is a problem here. Now, how are you going to go about fixing it? Caleb has to be one of the voices in that locker room to go about fixing it. He has to be. You're the quarterback. You're the starting quarterback for an NFL team. You have to be part of the solution. You can't just be part of the problem. Period, point blank. There's no other way around that. And, Caleb has progressed in a lot of areas. And I get it that there are a lot of Bears fans. There's going to be a lot of Bears articles. It's funny. The Bears won 4 in a row and they lose 1, and how much things change. Now, not to say that Caleb Williams' play hasn't been concerning. It has been. And we're not going to gas it like Caleb Williams hasn't had some concerning things about his play. But we all knew the moment that the Bears' winning streak was done. And if Caleb Williams didn't look damn near perfect in that, the articles were going to start, the national media was going to start, all that was going to start. It comes with the territory. And that's what I keep saying. That's what I'm always going to say. All of this comes with the territory. And you just got to deal with that. There's no other way around that. You have to, if you want to be successful in this league, guess what? When you fail, when you have some strife, when you have some trouble, it's all going to fall on you. And that's just what being a quarterback in the NFL looks like. That's what this world is. So hopefully Caleb is going to get that together and be a part of the reason why this locker room can fix it. But I love that so many players on this offense have talked about it and talked about losing their patience, because we also got quotes from Rome Odunze, who said, I think the majority is us shooting ourselves in the foot. Penalties, misalignments, misexecution on a play. I don't think there was ever an instance where we've not had a penalty or executed a play properly where we haven't scored touchdowns for ourselves. So we have to get back to that. Yeah, you have to get back to that. Do you want to be successful? Right? And Rome, this has been a great breakout season for Rome Odunze. Now, even in that, Rome Odunze has had some drops that are on him. They weren't on Caleb. There's been some misses that also were on Caleb, right? So overall, like the way that this team has been playing, it is what it is, right? But 7 games in, you would expect us to be a little bit more polished. And I'm sure that's something that is driving somebody like who's a perfectionist like Ben Johnson crazy. It should be driving everybody in the locker room crazy with the fact that you are not getting it done, right? And a big part of that is the self-inflicted wounds of why you're not getting that done. Now, Rome, for what it's worth, 473 yards receiving so far this season. Great, cool, awesome. 5 touchdowns, great, cool, awesome. But we got to get shit done. DeAndre Swift, slowly but surely having himself a really good season as well, with almost 700 yards from scrimmage already this season. Really good, solid numbers. But there's a lot to be desired as far as the consistency part of that. And the Bears aren't going to find that if you can't get yourself together with these penalties, with the misalignments, with the bad stuff that's happening there, and we'll see, right? But overall, the Bears cannot rest, and I've said it a lot too. You are not good enough yet to take any days off. You're not good enough yet to not understand how important it is that you're damn near perfect throughout every game. You're not good enough to do that. The Bears ain't accomplished shit. A 4-game winning streak was great. It's fun. It's awesome. It's great that you were able to do that. But don't confuse that with really accomplishing shit as the season stands on. We got a lot of stuff that we need to do. But DeAndre Swift, also another voice echoing the same thing, saying it's always self-inflicted. Pre-snap, anything after the snap, holding, that's things that are going to happen throughout football. But pre-snap stuff, we got to eliminate because that's what we can control. You're preaching to the choir. So hearing that Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams, I'm sure others in the locker room, Ben Johnson, right, are all echoing the same thing as we got to stop hurting ourselves. The other team's already out to hurt you. You got to do a better job at not hurting yourself. And so I think that the next 4 games for Chicago become tantamount. These are important. Like every game's important, right? You look at the Bengals defense, for example. They're 32nd in rushing yards per game, allowing 152. 31st in passing yards a game, 256. 29th in sack rate, 4.1%. 31st in third down defense, 32nd in points per game allowed. This defense for the Bengals is not good. So, with that said, you got to get it together. The Giants game coming up, they're 30th in total yards allowed, 29th in yards allowed per game, 27th in points allowed per game, 24th in passing yards allowed per game, 30th in rushing yards. You got to get that done as well, right? So, the Bears got to come into this one, and they got to tighten it this fuck up, because the Giants, the Titans, all these, the Bengals, like these are games that are winnable games for you, but you got to come in and execute. If you can't come in and capitalize and try to find a momentum over these next 3 games, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. You got to lock in here. This is an important stretch for the Bears, because over those games, if you can come out with an above 500 record out of those games, right? I'm talking about in those the next 4 games, then you're off to a pretty solid start. If the Bears can get 3 wins over the next 4 weeks, right? That puts you then at 7-4 on the season. 7-4 on the season. Again, not the best record, right? Not the craziest thing that seals anything up, but that puts you in a nice spot to continue this thing, as the season goes on, and still puts you in a spot where you're still contending and competing for a wild card spot. You got to tighten up, Bears. You got to do it. And let's hope that the Bears can, man. As it stands right now, the Bears have the 8th best record in the NFC per win percentage, right? The Carolina Panthers also have 4 wins, but they have 4 losses. So Bears have a little bit better of a win percentage there, right? So this is important for the Bears. This is hugely important for this team to stay ahead. You got to catch the rhythm here. If you don't catch the rhythm back, it's going to get ugly for you. So can the Bears do it? I think that they can. I have a lot of hope for this team, but these next 4 games are going to tell the Bears a lot. Cincinnati, New York, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. Those next 4 games. Can you go into week 14? Can you go into that one with 7 wins? I think that's the question that you have to ask there, right? And let's be clear. It'd be 6-5 if they end up losing 2. It is what it is there, right? But can you be above 500 over these next 4 games? Can you win 3 of these games? Because if you can put yourself in a situation to be 7-4 going into the last stretch of the season, listen, you're right there in the thick of things. Well, projected to be right there in the thick of things in the NFC. So you got to hope that they're going to be able to do it. It doesn't mean that they will. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that at all. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be the Bears having to dig in and find something in themselves to stop the bleeding that we've seen from this team. But if you can do it, you can come out on the other side of that really competing for something meaningful. And I would love to be able to talk about my team that's competing for something that means something towards the end of the season, rather than us already looking at the draft. Hell, this time last year, we already started focusing more on the draft, right? So let's see what the Bears can do in that. I hope that they can come out of that with the right mindset and with the right performance, and let's see what we can do. With that said, though, we got one voicemail I want to get into today, man. This one is from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas. I always like to wait until after a loss. I like to wait till, I like to sleep on it and call in the next day because, a lot of times we have those knee-jerky reactions because we're a little emotional right after the game. So it's best to kind of call in with a clear head. But, yeah, man, I think everything is, it's going to be fine, I guess. You have to take into account that, we had basically reserve level cornerbacks in there, man. We're missing our top 3 cornerbacks. And to expect Noshawn Wright to go in there and lock it down as the number 1 cornerback and everybody, that's just unrealistic, man. So even a guy like Huntley, can pick you apart, when you just got guys that just lack the talent than what you originally had. I think that's all that is. Until we can get Kyler, Tyreek, on the field consistently at the same time, it's just going to be easy for a lot of teams to pick us apart back there. So, we just have to cross our fingers and hope that these guys come back next week. But, it's just one of those things, man. Every now and then you just get that injury bug. There's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't mean the sky is falling. Just means that, we're going to have to make some trades or, hopefully these guys are coming back soon. Now, as far as Caleb, I think he'll be all right. He did once again miss a lot of easy throws that he should have put on the money that could have been really big explosive plays. I think it's just going to take him a while to settle in to being that drop back quarterback. I feel like Caleb does best when we got the play action pass going. That's where he's comfortable at. As far as the timing stuff, the 3 to 5 and 7 step drops, he's just not in the rhythm to do that yet. It's going to take some time to develop, and we have to change our perspective of what we think generational talent is. Does he have the skill to be generational? Yeah, but what also ties into generational talent is your ability to read the defense, your ability to anticipate throws, before that window even comes open. That also ties into generational talent. It's not just a guy's skill set and how he can run around and scramble around a strong arm. And I don't think Caleb is generational in that sense. Doesn't mean that he's not going to be good, but generational coming in day one, you have to have an understanding of a lot of things that Caleb hasn't developed yet. And he's just one of those guys that's going to take 2 or 3 years. And we just have to sit back and wait. Nothing we can do, man. But everybody try to stay calm and text us up and bear down.
The injury bug has kicked the Bears in the ass all season long. It just has. Hearing Shamar Turner, Dominique Robinson is going to miss some time as well, right? It's just tough, man. It's tough. But especially when you look at the way that missing the cornerbacks and how important the secondary is to the way that Dennis Allen is scheming for this team, it's been a huge miss for this team to have Kyler and those guys out as much as they've been out, right? So let's get the guys back. Let's get them back healthy. We're adding Austin Booker back. So TJ Edwards has already been exactly what we needed from him since he's come back in his return as well. Let's just continue building this thing on out, man. Let's continue getting to the place where we need to get to as a team. But missing corners is huge for Dennis Allen's system. I think even like Zay Frazier could have been a huge ball hawk for this team. So, we're never going to really get to see this year the full vision that Dennis Allen had, but hopefully next season. As far as Caleb has got to get his shit together. Yes, you're right. He is learning to be more comfortable. He's playing more under center now than what he has in any point of his football career. And you got to give him a little bit of credit for that, right? But the title of generational, I feel like that has to be earned on the football field. I get it. There's no way you're going to stop from people being labeled as generational prospects, anything like that. But I'm just of the mind that you prove you're generational on the football field. There's a lot of generational prospects that don't amount to anything. I don't care about what the pre-draft analysis is. I care about once you get in the league, what do you show on that football field? And if Caleb wants to be great, like he says he is, fuck being generational or not. Do you want to be great? Do you want to be good? Go in there and put in that work, right? So I really do. I agree with you in your problem with the generational term. And, it was going to always take time for Caleb to develop. We were saying that here when people thought you were going to draft Caleb and boom, you were going to be off to the races. We said it here at Chicago Bears Central. It was going to be a while. Being labeled as generational doesn't stop you from going through normal rookie growth and things you have to do, especially when you look at Caleb being under center and how seldom he was and things like that over the course of his collegiate career. So it was always going to be a process. But now, let's attack it. Let's see where we're going to come out on the other side of that. And let's hope that Caleb is going to be that quarterback that we need him to be. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Chi Bears Central. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.